Okay. 20 November 2021, and today I'm joined by my usual guest, Senator Khaliphani Phugeni. How are you, Senator?
I'm very well, Kambakwe. How are you? And good evening, good afternoon, good morning to our listeners, wherever they may be in the world.
Okay, fantastic. And today we want to quickly talk about the developments in Matabeleland. Okay. Your party, the MDCT, was in Matabeleland last week. Where did you travel to?
No, it was a Matabeleland, not the tour. I think they did Lupane and then Chocholo. Everybody knows about what happened in Chocholo. While it's on that subject, sorry, just indulge me here. You know, I did an interview with you, and understand the Puso, I was very angry with that imposter of a policeman. And but in that interview, I made it clear that he does not represent our policemen. He's an embarrassment to the police force, to the country, to the government, and even to the people of Zimbabwe. Subsequent to that interview with you, I did one with another broadcaster, again, Zimbabwean-based, but outside the country also. And I was pressed on information that I had not verified, which I knew nothing about, to basically attack the sitting president and say a lot of things, even about the whole police and everything. And I stuck to my cards that, look, this is an isolated incident as far as I'm concerned. It does not reflect how the police have treated me, at least me, never mind everyone else. So yesterday, I saw you reported about the accident that happened in Bulawayo of a bus and a truck.
Yes, correct.
My sister was in that bus. So my niece sends me a very troubling message. Uncle, there's a problem. My mom, blah, 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 whatsoever. So but they gave me wrong information. They spoke of the toll gate, McDonald's and whatever. So I was trying to get there. I went via Kilan. Little did I know that the Harare Bulawayo Road in that stretch in Mahashula had already been closed because of that accident. So when I get to the corner out of Kilan trying to turn right to rush to McDonald's, I see that there's an accident there by Mahashula on my left, and I suspected that is the one. I asked the bystanders there, they said yes. So then I turn left, but as I'm turning left, no car is allowed there because all the cars are channeled via Kilan. So, of course, the policeman is surprised. Why is this man insistent on coming here? I get there. And then, of course, he's irritated now because he's trying to divert all traffic to Kilani, but I'm coming there. So then he comes to my window to give me an instruction, which I acknowledged that instruction, and then I identified myself. And then I told him that actually my sister is part of this accident. I actually want to pick myself and rush her to the hospital. So he says, no, okay, no, rush there. And then as I'm about to take off, he says, oh, by the way, how are you? And then he gives me a salute. Now, imagine if last week, because I'm angry, understand the Puso, I rubbish everyone in the police and say they are rubbish, they don't do their jobs properly, and forget all the other good treatment I have received, including the one from yesterday. That will be extremely unfair. You know, during the course of the week, somebody called me and said, I would like to set up an interview for you on the matter with ETV and SAPC. I said, no, I'm not taking this thing outside. We are dealing with this thing internally, and we're going to finish it here. So I just wanted to stress that point, that it is very, very important, Kambakwe, never to speak too much when you are angry, number one. Especially the married folks, they may want to know this. Don't say to your wife you're ugly when you're angry, because she'll never forgive you. She will never recover from that. Don't say to your kids you're dumb when you're very angry and you're disappointed, because your child will never recover from that. Don't speak out of anger. Always do your best not to speak when you're angry and speak when you're calm, because anger as a way of blinding your objectivity. You know, so it's just emotions. So I just thought it's important that I raise that there are times when things are bad in this country, but not all is gloom and death and all those things. So then I had to rush to UPH, meet the doctor as well there, because of course, you know, the poor states of our hospitals. When you've got a patient there, you must take your own medication. So I was told what to buy. I rushed there, taking that medication, and I meet a doctor there who says, "Honorable, look, our salaries are a joke. But when we have an emergency, we just have to forget about all of that and do everything in our power to save lives." Yeah, so that said, yeah, it was a tour of Lupane, which was Chocholo, and then there was Bubi, which is also Lupane, and then it was Nkai South, and then culminated with Nkai North, that massive one which you saw.
Okay, Senator, that's fantastic. And I'm very sorry to hear about the accident your sister was involved in. Is she fine?
Yeah, well, she's coping under the circumstances, but unfortunately, 2 people there lost their lives, the truck driver, and I understand the driver's assistance from the bus side. And yeah, people were shocked, but it could have been worse. God was wonderful. Even in the circumstances, God was wonderful.
Okay, fantastic. So, Senator, I want us to quickly look at the Matabeleland trips. And I want to specifically focus on Chamisa's trip, MDC Alliance president. You saw that he was in Ngai, and this was the first meeting. I'm showing the pictures now of Chamisa in Ngai. And then from there, he traveled to Cholocho. I don't know if you've seen these pictures that I'm displaying here.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Okay. So I don't want us to take too long, but you saw that the numbers were very, very low. He never managed to address any crowd compared to what happened when Senator Monzora was there last week.
Yeah, well, it's a bit difficult for me to basically critique what is happening there since I'm not in the inside. I really don't know. Yes, ours was planned weeks ahead of time, and the strategy was always to bring the numbers and communicate with the numbers. So seeing what NC experienced when he was doing the Mashonaland tour, the violence, he might have as well decided that he just wants to do a low profile thing and just engage with the people and get the feel. So without knowing really the strategy, it's not very easy because we may not be comparing oranges with oranges here.
Okay, let's look at Chamisa's strategy in Matabeleland, and I want to take you to the report or the report by Noise, the prediction that they made about 2018, about 2023 elections. They say the problem with Chamisa's party is the lack of grassroots structures, the lack of a coalition, and inability to galvanize Zimbabweans to protest against Mnangagwa. Those are the 3 reasons they gave for why Chamisa will not win in 2023. Let's go first to grassroots structures. Do you think Chamisa's party has grassroots structures in Matabeleland as we speak?
No, you see, like I'm saying, being outside, it's not very easy. But of course, you try and analyze. I'll come to that question. Let me just give you my view of the lack of numbers while you don't have the numbers. The numbers are not there because of what we've been telling you all along. In 2018, he had the resources. Remember, he had the machinery of the party. He also had the finances from political funding act. So at one stage, I think he was given 2.8 million US dollars. So he was able to transport people basically from anywhere in the country to bring that that euphoria and bring that excitement, because you do need that. There must be some momentum, some excitement. Now the money is not there, so it's not easy when you are operating without money. But Zimbabweans, being dishonest, as most of you media personalities are, you rubbish Dr. Kupe and say she was rejected by the people when she didn't have anything. She did not have no cent with her, no cent to her name. If you look at the resources, the return on investment, she did extremely well when it comes to return on investment. But the narrative out there is that she was rejected by the people when she did not have anything. Against all odds, she became number 3. I know people want to go to percentages, but she became number 3 basically from nowhere. No media house was reporting her. Her movement was restricted largely through violence, but secondly, without resources whatsoever. The report, they will just, you will just make up lies and just report lies, lies after lies, and then that is where she ended. And now I'm saying, now you have a situation where NC does not have the resources. And of course, you saw the violence that attended Matabeleland, Mashonaland rural outreach. All of those things play a role, and all of those things affect us. There are variables which you cannot ignore. So that being said, let me come to the report which you said. Yeah, indeed, the biggest challenge in the opposition, and I'm saying opposition in general, never mind the different factions of the opposition, is the weakness when it comes to structures. Extreme weakness when it comes to structures. The structures are weak. Everyone just wants to go and hero worship the leader. They lie to their leaders. They lie about other people, other promising maybe newcomers or other promising young politicians. They are always tarnish their image. Lies are said about them. And it's not a conducive environment for building group work. So I do agree with that report to a large extent that the structures are not properly mobilized at local level. It's always national leaders backing down instructions to lower structures.
Okay, I want to finalize that question with a question on the MP and councillor. You can see that the persons that contested in these wards for Chamisa's party are not there. This is Chamisa, Ostalos, and the guys that came with him from Harare. The councillors that were fielded by the MDC Alliance, most of them are based in South Africa. Is that not one of the reasons why the MDC Alliance is not doing well in Matabeleland? That there's no one on the ground because the guys who contested were picked from South Africa or from the UK?
Well, I don't know about what you are saying, that information. I don't know. What I know very well is this Bulawayo issue, the city council issue. I think there was another one who was taken from Gweru or so, Gweru or Masringo. And he was brought to be a councillor here in Bulawayo, doesn't know anyone, doesn't have a house in Bulawayo whatsoever, but because he was part of a quota system which they gave each other in the alliance. So that's what I can speak to. With regards to rural Matabeleland, I'm not sure. What I am certain about is if you do not have resources in their different facets, be it human resource, be it financial resource, be it the airwaves, because remember, much of the communication from the alliance comes from independent media, and much of the independent media really is online. So in the rural areas, if you don't have that, you are really going to struggle. And don't underplay this violence that I'm talking about that happened in Mashonaland, because such things, they have a way of intimidating people in participating. They take down morale. You just don't know how to move. It paralyzes you, which I'm bringing back to point you back to 2018, when we were telling you that it was important that Dr. Kupe is allowed to move around. She's allowed to campaign. She's allowed to be financed in line with the Constitution, because you know that later she won the court case, but it was too late. It was too late, and some of you still don't understand why she had to take over, why she had to enjoy what people think are the benefits of the alliance. No, but those are the benefits of the money which was duly due to her.
Okay, I think that is covered. Let's go to the issue of a coalition on the ground. Yeah. There are many parties, many political parties in Matabeleland. MRP, ZAPU, the new party, Zimbabwe African National Congress, APA. These are all parties that are very, very strong in Matabeleland. Do you think Chamisa is doing enough to create a coalition with these political parties, even MDCT in Matabeleland?
No, there is no party which is strong in Matabeleland amongst those that you've mentioned. There are three parties that did something in Matabeleland. It was ZANU, it was MTC Alliance, it was MTCT. All these other ones didn't even show up. Now, here's the point that I'm making. The point I'm making is that it's unfortunate that the opposition has allowed itself to be turned against each other and not even focusing on the real opposition. Because remember, we're in opposition because we're challenging the government. That is where the problem is. There's a headline. There's reporting to the effect that the current vice president is claiming that he's going to change the constitution so that the current president will be a life president. Now, people are seated there and think that, that's not about HE. Trust me. Basically, what he's signaling to you is that I'm going to change the constitution so that when I succeed or when I take over, whichever way he's going to take over, he is going to be a life president. Because remember, we know that most of the constitutional amendments which happened in the twilight years of Mugabe's reign, they were informed by the current president. And of course, it was preparation for takeover. So I saw the people saying, no, he's sucking up to ET to show that he's not part of a team to remove him and whatever. I read it differently altogether. I read it as someone preparing to take over and be a life president. So you've got that. You've got a very senior person in the ruling party talking about changing. I think that constitution was voted by over 95% of our people. He wants to change that on top of the 2 or 3 amendments which they've already made, amendments which they've already made, which are very unpopular, which our people did not like. He wants to make another one so that whenever he takes over, he becomes the life president. That's number one. Number two, the World Bank says 49% of our people are in abject poverty, and we can't communicate that. Right now, yesterday I went to the bank, come back. I saw a nice house in Harare which I wanted to buy. I went to the bank. I called the bank and I told them, look, I need a bond. And they told me that you don't qualify. The people who qualify, they earn above of 500,000. As for you, Honorable Senator, you're earning just 75,000, 73,000. So you don't qualify, don't even come anywhere close to it. Now, Honorable Minister Prof. Ncube pays us that 73,000 and say its exchange rate is 1:93 to 98, 97, 98 to the dollar. But you go to the real world where we live, because he's living in a utopian world, which does not exist. It only exists when he pays us. But when you go to the real world, which is where everyone lives, by the way, you are talking of an exchange rate which is 195 as of yesterday. 195. So
okay, I hear the issues, Senator. I hear the issues.
Wait. Let me finish this. And we are failing as opposition to take this to our voters. We are failing to take this to our voters and say, look, this is the reality of your day-to-day living. Can you please, when you vote, can your vote be informed or in conformity with your day-to-day life. That's what we've just seen in South Africa. What we've seen in South Africa, it didn't matter what the ANC did. It didn't matter the 350 so-called security net which they tried to bribe people with. Whatever they tried to do, the people were clear that the load shedding, were clear that the suffering, the livelihoods that have been lost as a result of the lockdowns and the unnecessary deaths that have happened compared to other African countries like Zimbabwe and other which are poorer than us. We've had enough. Even in local government, we want the ANC out. In Zimbabwe, it doesn't happen. The more people suffer, the more they still vote the same party. It does not make sense. Come to business in Zimbabwe. Business people in Zimbabwe, they are the ones who suffer the most under this government, because you wake up tomorrow after an election, they tell you that your US dollar is actually equivalent to an RTGS or a Zim dollar. And all of your hard-earned income and work is just wiped out like that. And then 2-3 months later, they tell you, no, actually, there's now an exchange rate. No, we're in control. The next thing, runaway inflation. But come voting time, business still support the ruling party. So maybe we deserve the leaders we have as a people because we're dishonest.
Okay. I'm saying I hear the topics that you are raising, but people in Matabeleland are different. They have been voting for the opposition since 1980. And what I'm saying is, someone like Chamisa, when they go into Matabeleland, they are not getting to the people on the ground and the parties on the ground. He's walking in by himself. And he only walks in when there's a by-election or something like that happening. Is that not the problem, that if we don't have local political parties, a local coalition, the people in Matabeleland will continue to suffer? Because whatever solutions that Chamisa is going to bring, they are not going to go down to the grassroots. Is that not the problem that we have?
Well, like I've already told you, it's unfortunate I haven't really been following him. So even all of these propositions that you are putting, I do not know the veracity thereof. But for me, I think the biggest problem is that even the people who have stayed away from the process are not being activated. They are not activated. Because if you look at the numbers of people who are registered to vote in Matabeleland, they are very, very few compared to other provinces. Now that tells you that there is a problem, that voters are not connecting with whatever message is being put out there. You see? So we definitely need to find a way to communicate or link people's day-to-day lived experiences with their participation in the democratic project and how they vote in that democratic project.
Okay, so 29 minutes ago, Chamisa just posted, everywhere I go, there's incredible, indescribable joy and incredible excitement. I'm so grateful for the warm welcome in Matabeleland. The change message is now in every community. In Matabeleland, they are saying, Kangene Ujaha. Is that an honest assessment of the situation? Do you think people in Matabeleland are benefiting from the MDC alliance, or even from your own party, the MDCT?
No, not only in Matabeleland, but in the country. You at least know, because in most of the things I do privately, I involve you. It's extremely difficult to come back. Every time I finish an interview with you, I'm inundated with calls for assistance. Some of them are in line with my job. Of course, I've got a young man who went abroad to a country in Europe, and they get there to Europe, they illegally test him and they find that he's sick, and then they deported him. So I'm busy trying to deal with that. Fine, I don't have a problem with that. You know, the fees issues that I sometimes come to you, a student who's doing very well, who's disadvantaged, no parents, in some cases with parents, but no money and whatsoever. I understand that. Hospital issues. Now there's a case in a hospital, let me not name the hospital because the the letter has been written in a form of a complaint that if they don't attend to it, then it will go to relevant structure. So someone goes in there, they are sick, they get treated, they go away, they go again for a follow-up treatment. Of course, they don't have money like everyone else. What do? The hospital takes a car, drive to the grandmother, threaten the life of the grandmother. They're going to take away the grandmother's furniture and everything. In the process, they also divulged that this lady was in the hospital. She was being treated for a EPCT. A lot of red lines crossed right there, right, which we are dealing with. Right now, come to the city council issues, service delivery. There was no electricity today in Bulawayo. There was no water a few days ago. Different townships, people are now struggling with water. So some of the questions I don't even have to answer them. I just have to tell you people's lived experiences. We are living in a situation where those who can afford are living a better off life because they can dig boreholes, they can have the solar power. So life goes on, they can have gas, and they power their stoves through gas, and their lives go on. But the poor who really depend upon a functioning government, from a national government, provincial government, in the case of if provincial governments are now law, and then local government, they depend on all of these governments functioning. No, they are very, very worse off. The last one, come back. All of my old people, 60, 63, 65 and above, it's me who's their welfare. Because I've never found anyone who's been given inputs during this rain season. I've never found anyone who's gotten fertilizer. During COVID, we heard that there's some safety net for the indigent and whatsoever. I have not met a single indigent person who's getting any help from the government. I have not. At the end of the day, maybe because I work as well there, when people come and they're hungry, I just have to take the liquid that I have, sometimes come to you and whatever and try and help. So that is your answer when you're asking me. Besides the opposition, the whole system is not working. It's not working. Maybe it's working in other areas, but where I am, it's just not working.
Okay, but Senator, why don't people in Matabeleland vote local political parties and punish these parties from Harare that do not do anything for them?
I really wish they were listening to you right now so they could understand, because they have gotten nothing. In reality, they have gotten nothing, a raw deal, extremely raw deal. All the factories in here in Bulawayo, some of them are now churches. Some of them are just white elephants that are doing nothing. But the same factories, you'll find them in Harare. You'll find them in Harare. So their vote is rewarded by taking away their employment and sending all of it to Harare. Now, you can't build an economy like that where there is a concentration of wealth in one city or in one province, metro province. If you are running a country for everyone, you try and make sure that production or means of economic activity and income and whatever is spread right across the country in a fair manner and in a manner that allows these provinces to intertrade and be able to help contribute to the national GDP. No, but everything gets taken to Harare, including even the issues of birth certificates, IDs, passports, and everything. Everyone just has to go there to Harare, which is extremely unfair. And now the people don't seem to understand that when it comes to voting, they just get excited and just vote there. And then they come to us for solutions. I can't have a solution. I can't have a solution. You have the solution. You have to vote in a manner that represents your aspirations, in a manner that speaks to your disgust about how the way you've been treated up to now. And that is not happening.
Okay, do you think in 2023 or in the coming by-election, voters in Matabeleland are going to make this clear that they're unhappy with the way they're being treated by the big political parties? For example, right now we've got a number of elections coming up. I think in Umzingwane, in Caesar, all those areas. Do you think these voters who are there in these areas can send this message to these big political parties that if you take us for granted, we're going to punish you?
Well, I don't think so, because remember, we spoke about local organizing people, local politicians. They don't do anything until a powerful person in the form of a president of a party is called from Harare. They hardly do that. Now, I attended a family gathering. One of grandchildren graduated. So I raised these issues I'm raising sharply with you. And I say to them, if this thing is not working for you, why don't you change? Why do you keep doing the same thing? Because the funny thing is that it does not work for the voter, but it works for the voted. The voted gets the protection they want. They get the security, be it income security, health security. The voted gets everything. The voter gets nothing. But the voter always gets lied to. And they go for the same lie over and over again. Come back with, if I'm not doing well for the voters, why should they in 2023 say, you know what, go back again? Go back to do what? To achieve what? Nothing. I am frustrated. Even as I speak to you, I'm frustrated on behalf of the people that keep voting the same way and come to people they have not empowered and expect them to somehow miraculously change their lot. It's not possible. So unless the local people understand their plight and agree that as local people, we want someone who understands our situation and who has demonstrated that he can stand up there bravely and boldly so, challenge the status quo and make sure that it begins to work for us as well. Unfortunately, I'm saying to you, yesterday I was at a bank. I am working. I supposedly have a good job. I was told that you don't qualify. You are far away from qualifying, from getting a bond. In South Africa, I qualified for a bond. Not only that, I had disposable income to buy a immovable property, cash. But I come here, I am employed, supposed to be a high paying job. I don't qualify. They told me in my face, no, you don't qualify. You are very far away from qualifying. Now, that situation is bad. It's bad for me. Imagine for the other person, when I'm supposedly have a good paying job. How about the other person? They will never, ever qualify. So we're dealing with a country here where the ones that are well off, because they're the ones with access to foreign currency. And we know that the moment you say business can charge prices in foreign currency, but you are going to pay people in local currency, which local currency you claim that is one is to a certain exchange rate, and yet businesses can then come up with their own exchange again. I mean, what kind of confusion is that? What kind of confusion is that?
Let's wrap it up, because I know that's a very sensitive topic, because I've got my own views about being an employee in Zimbabwe. I don't think I have enough space to say my view or time as it is. I don't believe that being an employee in Zimbabwe is the solution. You will never make it if you're an employee in Zimbabwe. You have to start your own company and you have to do your own thing. That is my belief.
You start your own company and start robbing. I'm saying to you right now, Kambako, the exchange rate in this country, if you go now and say, this is what the hotel is $5 US, okay, what is your exchange rate? 1:90, 1:70. But the government is saying, no, actually the exchange rate is 1:98. So when they pay you, they are using that official exchange rate. But when you spend that money, you are using the real exchange rate. You see? Now, so you just have to be cheating each other all the way. You just cheat each other all the way. But when it comes to voting time, somehow our people forget that they get given a bag of rice, I think beans and cooking oil, sugar and what. They somehow forget that you can't eat that for a month. never mind a month. You can't eat that, some of them even for 3 weeks, it will be gone. But you have just committed yourself to 5 years of misery.
Okay, so Senator, let me summarize this, and I want to wrap it up nicely so that people can understand what we've said. Firstly, we are saying Chamisa is walking into Matabeleland where he does not have structures. There are reasons, you have given the reasons why he doesn't have structures. He's walking alone as a man that is going to bring solutions. But the solutions have not come over the past years when Morgan Tsvangirai was voted in, when Chamisa himself was voted in. Those solutions have not come from an individual. Then secondly, we've said the coalition is not there. There's not been any attempt. I think I want to display Norbert's comment. Norbert says, Chamisa needs to mobilize opposition against the ruling party. He has not done well or enough to achieve that political goal. He is not a unifier, but seems to focus on strengthening power in his hands. And you mentioned that the local political parties have not done well. You mentioned that yourself. And I don't know, maybe we need to explore this further. Why people in Matabeleland keep voting for Mashonaland or Mashonaland-based parties. Is there a rule that says if you are in Matabeleland, you must go and vote for a party that comes from Harare? The people never come to your area at all. You must go and vote those people.
I need to, once they start to think like that, it will be said, no, we don't want tribalism. It's not tribalism. I can never be able to represent people from Mondoro more than someone from there. I don't know anything. I love them a lot. They mean a lot to me. I love them so much, never to try and to pretend that I represent them when in actual I'm looking for a job. Because this is what basically is happening. People just come here and claim that they represent our people when they don't. They don't represent our people. I'm saying to you, just go and see. You'll come here, me and you, I'm just going to take you around hospitals. The issues that I'm dealing with, I'll just want you to spend a day with me, come back, just a day. Today, I was just thinking that, you know what, maybe I need to put aside 100, 250 US dollars a month so that I can get myself a secretary. Because I was explaining to people, after the show we did last week, I was connected by almost 20 people, and they will tell you, they can come to inbox and tell you, all of them, I told them, I'll come back to you. I'm going to read, I'll come back to you, I'll come back to you. But I'm just one person, you see. Some of the issues that come to me are not even the Bulawayo issues. Some of them are there in Mashonaland, Midlands, and whatever. I am just one person. So I was saying, I'm just one person. I have to deal with these issues that come. Some of them are within my job description. Some of them are definitely not within my job description, but people don't understand. They want you to try and do something about these issues. I have my own developmental issues that I have to deal with. I've only got 24 hours a day like everyone else. I have my own also personal issues to do and whatever. And I just realized that I am burning myself out here. I am not going to afford this. Maybe I just need someone. So the number which you put here goes straight to my personal assistant. I just have to put a budget for that so that they deal with those things. Otherwise, I'm just overwhelmed and overworked. But to answer you direct, the people of Matabeleland, when they try and speak about these issues, they are called tribalist and. There is no Matain person who's the tribalist come back. Because the Matain person has never killed anyone for their ethnicity. But they have been killed for their ethnicity. So it's a scandal. It's a scandal for anyone who has benefited because of their ethnicity to turn to someone who has suffered prejudice, loss, and death for their ethnicity to then turn back and say, when those people want to address those issues, you turn back and say to them, they are tribalists. I spoke about this last week, and I saw some clown saying, this one is a tribalist. No, you know what? We are not going to entertain every clown. The issues I'm raising to you are real. These are issues you can go and follow and see. The hiring in this country, everything happens in Harare. Be it government, be it private, and all, everything happens in Harare. So you just need to come and see the makeup of the management. You go and see the makeup of the management in Harare. You go and come here in Matabeleland and see the makeup of the management, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. So, and people can't speak about those things because they are scared, because they'll be labeled, you know, they'll be labeled tribalist, and then they are scared to raise those. And if I raise that issue, no, that one is a tribalist. I represent the people of Matabeleland, by the way. So I must speak these issues. And if I don't speak these issues, I'm doing bad by them. Now, will they cost me my job? Very likely. Very, very likely. But who cares? I did not come to this country to make money. I'm not here to make money, Kambakwe. I've demonstrated I was making money somewhere else. There's no money here. I can't afford a home, a bond. I can't. My salary is so low, I can't afford. So at least let me do something which I can afford, is to speak for those who do not have a voice and speak for them. So you are now on the right track. Let the people of Matabeleland, not only Matabeleland, the people of Midlands, the people of Mashonaland Central, Shonaland East and whatever, concentrate on local politics. After all, national politics emanates from local politics. Why really should people come from all over, someone coming from Deep Cholocho claiming to represent people from Puera? The people of Puera have their customs, they have their norms, they have their own culture. If you can't represent your own people, why are you running to other places to pretend to represent other people? So for me, that is where the challenge is. And on that one, and I hate myself for saying this, ZANU has tried. It has really tried to make sure that when they get to a place, they look at the indigenous people of that place to represent others. Where they have failed is to accept that when it comes to issues of governance, in offices and even transform industry, even private sector, to say, no, if we are going to get to a place, it's the indigenous people that must be elevated, that must be empowered to make sure that they make decisions of their own place. Let me close with this one. Now, the mines are supposed to benefit the local people, at least to a certain degree. I want you to, I'll drive around with you here in all these mines here in Matabeleland. There is nothing, no school, no water, the roads are vandalized. You come to Lupane, they take all the timber here in Lupane, damage the roads, driving the timber to Harare to go and process it there. Taking away local employment from the people in Lupane. I'm sure the people in Marange will say the same. Where they got there in Marange, took all the diamonds, but took it to Zimba to go and process it there. Because the then state president was from there. All that injustice is wrong. And why do the local people not punish a government when it comes to elections? For the life of me, I just don't understand.
Okay. Senator, I think this is a very broad topic. And if it was me strategizing for Matabeleland parties, I would eat these guys' lunch. I would make sure that they lose. They would never, Harare party would never get a vote in Bulawayo.
You and me are in the same boat, Kamakwe. Trust me. Yeah. You know, even this issue of saying opposition can't reach the rural folk, I have a perfect strategy for that. But you know how our parties are structured. Our parties are structured that if we suspect that you may amount to something, we're going to oppress you and we're going to hate everything you say, and we're just going to keep you there in a corner. If you try and raise your head, we might even hit you and you are gone. So yeah, some of us, we just try and stay in our lane, try and help those that we can reach, and when it's time to just go and play with fun and just enjoy, we will do that. But I'm telling you, there is no reason why you will expect people who disrespect you like that. Some of them even come to my, they don't even bring an interpreter anymore. They don't even get interpreted. They come here, speak in their language. People don't understand because they assume that their language is imperial to every other one's language. You must hear me, you know, which is nonsense. I saw another reporting, which I hope it's fake, saying Ndebele is no longer allowed in parliament. At least I haven't experienced that in the Senate. That's nonsense. Nonsense of the highest order, and I'm actually considering if going forward all my contribution should not be in Ndebele or Sotho, because not high.
Right, Senator. So, in summary, Chamisa has gone to Matabeleland. He's gone to Ngai. He's gone to Cholocho, and also the MDCT has done the same. They've gone to Matabeleland. But I think we agree that there's nothing from all the political parties that are coming from Harare for the locals. Nothing is happening there. The strategy, especially of Chamisa, who's been winning, whose party has been winning, is not there. They've gotten the votes, but it has not helped the locals in Matabeleland. And I hope that someone in 2023 or in the upcoming by-elections uses this gap to punish the MDC Alliance and also the other Harare parties.
Come back. When I made a presentation in Parliament, I think it was my maiden one, and I raised the issue that Matabeleland is marginalized together with women. The minister gave me a tongue lashing. Not a single person from Matabeleland defended me. Not even a single person. I had to stand up and defend myself because of the mischaracterization of my contribution and everything. Subsequent to that, it was now people from Ashwa who said, no, because the minister said, well, why do I make myself the spokesperson for Matabeleland? He said, no, he's not only the spokesperson for Matabeleland, he's actually our spokesperson. Now, what is funny is one of the ministers, as we're getting out of there, he said to me, are you the guy? No, what you're saying is actually true. Now, and he's not from Matabeleland. The point I'm bringing is that a lot of us are just there for employment, my friend. We are not going to raise people's issues. That's how our people are where they are. We are not raising these issues in a forceful manner, in the manner they should be raised. The issue of women, you know, I've raised this issue over and over again. I cannot accept for the life of me that the Constitution says we're working towards a 50-50 gender parity in Parliament. And we are now we are pushing this thing to 20 years when women are still sitting. I think it's 20 something. And we're clapping hands for ourselves saying we're doing well, we're empowering women. No, that's nonsense. It's completely unacceptable, especially when you consider that women are more in number. Extremely unacceptable. Now, that is why you find the exploitation of our children and young girls in these internships. You see, that's another den of pedophilia of another level altogether. Most of our young girls and kids are abused there by senior people because they have to be in these internships. And so you have internships for sex, same thing that is happening in colleges and universities. Because it's most of us men who are in charge and making laws and whatsoever, put women there, put them in the majority, put 54% of them. And you'll see how they will deal with all of these men, and all of these evils and iniquities will go away. But we are patting ourselves in the back. Even those women that participate in this, they're patting themselves in the back. But if you say to them, listen, since the percentage is staying the same, we've just extended, but it's staying the same, move out this time so that another woman can come in. They will not agree. You see? So there is just a lot that we are failing our people as representatives, as government. I can't accept that 49% of our people are living in abject poverty and it means nothing. Let me ask you this question, Kambak. You have relatives yourself that are indigent. Do you know anyone who's getting government support of your relatives?
No, not at the moment. They don't qualify.
All of them. Yes. so all your relatives are well off. Kudos to you. No, yeah, I wish my family was like your family. But the point I'm bringing is, I am struggling to find anyone I know, be it relative or whatever, who is really getting something from government in terms of security net. No one that I know.
Okay. So, Senator, I think let's wrap this up. And my final word on this is that I feel that the people of Matabeleland they are the ones that are letting themselves get treated this way, where a leader just comes from Harare, walks around, doesn't address the issues that are there, doesn't even worry about their own structures in their own party, doesn't talk to the local leaders, the local opposition parties. There's no attempt at all to say what really are the issues here. Why are these people voting for me? It's almost like a photo opportunity for these guys, and it's quite sad. I'm hearing someone's battery ending. I think it's yours, Senator. Can we wrap this up?
Good night.
All right. I'm so sorry. Senator Khaliphani Phugeni's battery just died, and I think he has said a lot about everything that he wanted to say. So thank you very much, everybody. And I think you have all seen the discussion that we had about Chamisa's visit to Matabeleland, where he went to Ngai and then he went to Cholocho. Very, very strange visit. No address, just driving past. And then finally, that small group of people that greeted him on the way when he was coming from Cholocho. And I think it's going to be interesting if there's a good, strong opposition in Matabeleland, a local opposition. I hope that they'll be able to punish these political parties from Harare. I do not think they're doing enough for the people of Matabeleland. In fact, Matabeleland has suffered under the opposition compared to the time when they were under ZANU-PF rule. If you look at Bulawayo City Council, it has deteriorated. They are fighting all the time. Not much is being done. And Promise says, Gambako are trying to discourage people from Matabeleland to vote President Chamisa. Manje was a winner. Matabeleland people have never voted for ZANU-PF. Ever since 1980, they've always been voted for the opposition, and things have not changed. All we are saying here is, why do you keep doing the same thing over and over, and you do not address it by voting for your own local political parties, your own political parties that you can hold to account, because people are actually living in your communities. Then Denmas is saying, Mary Chiwenga, why are you quiet about her? Speak about Chamisa daily. I do not have to talk about Mary Chiwenga again. I have talked about Mary Chiwenga in the past. And these issues, they are bigger than me. We are talking here about national issues. Imagine if the issue of Mary Chiwenga was solved. Is it going to bring bread on the table of anybody? So those issues are important, but the issues that we're talking about here, they affect a whole region. Matabeleland is huge, and the MDC Alliance, they get more than half of their support from Matabeleland. So I expect a coherent strategy from Chamisa. When he goes in Matabeleland, I expect to see him going there to see what are the issues, to build structures, and to develop coalitions with the locals. And that is what is missing. That is what has not been happening. And then Rosman, you say, why talk about Ngonzora? Why do we talk about Ngonzora? I guess we talked about Ngonzora's visit last week. And I think basically we've answered all the questions. I've really enjoyed this discussion. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching this discussion. And tomorrow we'll be back with Mr. Pangana Mhlanga. We want to look at the court case of the challenge on President Idi Mnangagwa's ascendance to power. So we want to look at that from Sengezi and see what has happened, what is the implications of that challenge, and whether there are other forces at play. So tomorrow, 9 o'clock, same time, we'll be back. Thank you very much for watching, and good night to everybody.
Kuno, abo, ano, mamu.